You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way.
Another interview, another Trump meltdown. This time, arms folded, Trump lashed out at criticism of his economic plans.
There are business people.
But you're wrong. You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff.
The childish insults and stream of conscious screeds.
It's called the weave. It's all these different things happening.
Yeah.
Came as the conservative Drudge Report called Trump American Psycho. His rhetoric is getting darker.
It's the enemy from within, all the scum that we have to deal with.
His gaffes are more frequent.
Also, we have many Azerasians in our room.
And his rallies are weirder.
I mean, it was over half an hour that they were up there. He was requesting songs on little pieces of paper.
Washington Post headline, Trump sways and bops to music for 39 minutes in bizarre town hall episode.
It was weird. I mean, I don't know of another word to describe last night. It was weird. And he does weird things like this. And he usually does them in private, or he does them with aides, or he does them on the Mar-a-Lago patio. Look, we are used to seeing him have a discursive speaking style, but it has gotten more rambling, it has gotten more incoherent, and it's gotten longer. That's the other thing, is that if you look back at the speech lengths from a couple of years ago, they were much shorter. Now, when he was in office, now they are, 75 minutes, 90 minutes. His aides have been working to try to get them down.
But according to several reports, Trump has been exploding at his aides. He is allegedly screaming at them over campaign strategy and publicly calling his staff stupid when things go wrong. This happened recently when aides made a mistake with a photo Trump wanted as a speech prop.
That's the wrong picture. That was unbelievable. They used the wrong picture. It's the same picture, but they have the two side things. It's so stupid.
They are so stupid. Well, on top of denigrating his own campaign team, Trump has also reportedly been hammering his donors. New York Times headline, a frustrated Trump lashes out behind closed doors over money. Donald J. Trump is feeling aggrieved, unappreciated by donors, and fenced in by security concerns in the final stretch of the race. Amidst the Trump eruptions, there are growing concerns among his own supporters over Trump's judgment. Several Republicans in Congress pointed to remarks Trump recently delivered in Detroit, Michigan, the state's largest city. Trump denigrated the city while trying to criticize Kamala Harris.
I think Kamala, it's not going to be high on her list. I don't think anything that we're talking about today is high on her list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president.
Detroit is one of America's great comeback stories over the past 20 years, and Michigan is a swing state that could determine the election outcome. So Donald Trump's insult was politically stupid and ridiculous, and the blowback in Michigan has been fierce. We will talk about the Michigan polls in a moment, but first, during the most recent Detroit Lions NFL football game and the Major League Baseball playoffs when the Detroit Tigers were playing, residents of Michigan saw this Harris Walls ad repeatedly.
They said we were dead.
Detroit waving the white flag, the city filing for bankruptcy.
That our best days were behind us. That living here is like
Living in hell.
But you know what we said? We said, F that. We rebuilt ourselves. We looked out for each other, got our hands dirty, and put in the hard work. And this guy, he don't know anything about that. We are a city of winners, of up-and-comers, of builders, the Motor City. Bigger and better. Here, we believe in freedom. We don't bow down to nobody, and we never will. And so what Donald Trump doesn't understand, or care to learn, is that when he said,
Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president.
That he should be so goddamn lucky.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The fierce approach to Trump in Michigan appears to be having an impact. Before Donald Trump spoke in Detroit and criticized the city, polls showed Trump ahead of Harris in Michigan by 2 points, 48 to 46. Now the polls show Harris ahead by 1, 49 to 48. That's a 3-point swing in her favor in a week. Trump's erratic behavior is also not helping him nationally. The latest poll by Amidst, a widely respected polling organization, found Harris ahead by 5, 52 to 47. The latest TIP poll, Harris plus 3, 49 to 46. Ipsos, Harris +3, 51-48. YouGov, Harris +3, 51-48. The crosstabs of the YouGov poll found black voters supporting Harris 87-12. That's the same spread Joe Biden had 4 years ago. And back to the state polls. In Pennsylvania, polls by Tip and CNN found Harris ahead by 4 in Pennsylvania, 49-45. Tip did a smaller poll that was restricted just to likely voters. Trump supporters keep pointing to that because it shows Trump +1 in Pennsylvania, but that smaller poll excluded nearly all respondents from Philadelphia. And eliminating voters from the heavily Democratic city in any poll makes the result, according to experts, fundamentally flawed. In the midst of all this, hosts on Fox News keep trying to paint a positive picture of all the Trump developments. We showed you the Bloomberg interview when Trump crossed his arms like a petulant child and lashed out at being challenged over his economic plans. Here was the spin from Sean Hannity.
So in one of his greatest all-time moments on the campaign trail, former President Donald Trump absolutely schooled Bloomberg's editor-in-chief today during a live appearance at the Economic Club of Chicago. Despite things getting, well, a little heated at times, Trump, frankly, masterfully navigated the situation, laid out what was a clear vision for American prosperity.
You gotta give Sean Hannity credit. He manages to keep a straight face when delivering bullshit. And Sean does it better than anybody. It's probably one of the reasons why Hannity is a Fox News star. But back to Donald Trump.
Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful... Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela, but it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
The primary scene in Washington was hundreds of thousands, the largest group of people I've ever spoken before, and I've spoken before, and it was love and peace.
Trump's lies about January 6th, his whoppers about basic economics, and the relatively quiet reaction at several organizations and groups to the Trump Chicago interview prompted this reaction from MSNBC's Mike Barnacle.
I am stunned that the New York Times, at least in the print edition this morning, maybe it's online, I don't know, didn't have much space to actually write about what he did yesterday in Chicago, what Trump said yesterday in Chicago. I'm stunned that the United Auto Workers haven't had a rebuttal to what Donald Trump said yesterday. Basically, that they're building cars out of a box that's shipped to them, and they just open up the box and put the thing together and run them down the assembly line. An amazing display of total economic ignorance.
Economic ignorance, rambling incoherence, American psycho. The descriptions all fit Donald Trump these days. By most accounts, Trump is getting more unhinged. He is erupting and lashing out at the ridicule, and undecided voters, perhaps horrified by Trump's instability, are taking notice. It all adds up to a Harris victory on November the 5th. That is coming. And then the only question will be how much Donald Trump complains, tries to foment political violence, and gets his diehard supporters to become as unhinged and crazy as he is. By the way, in Florida, Nazi Trump voters recently got swamped and humiliated.
Hail Trump! Hail Trump!
Off the coast of Jupiter, Florida, those are self-proclaimed Nazis. Ex-user Leslie Abravanel took this photo and wrote, "Near Palm Beach right now, all Nazis are Trump voters. Sickening." But the voters in front have had enough. If you watch it again, you can see the Nazis got swamped by Trump supporters. Before the swastika-promoting crew got splattered, the group took a video of their cruise and posted it on social media.
Our 2024, yeah, Jupiter Trump-themed boat parade, man. There we go. Let's see it. My Pillow, 1488, motherfuckers. Look at those beautiful swastikas. We got to make America white again. Hail Trump. White power. White power.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Eric For Real, who wrote, "If your party is appealing to Nazis, you may want to reevaluate who you support." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump exploding as the ridicule of him intensifies and the new polls show him losing. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.